How you kill one is you cut off its head.
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy. Audible's post-apocalyptic vampire audio series, Impact Winter, is returning for Season 2 on July 13th, 2023. And we are here to recap everything you need to know before you sink your teeth into this new season.
Wait, an audio series? Don't you mean an audio book?
Nope, an audiobook is a recording of a book being read out loud by one or more narrators. In contrast, an audio series is a dramatized, purely acoustic performance of a script. It's like listening to a TV series or film, but you create the visuals in your mind.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Well, some people use their imagination.
Audio dramas are a tale as old as our grandparents' time that took a back seat with the birth of television. But now, thanks to platforms like Audible, they are making a comeback. And if you haven't listened to Impact Winter yet, return when you have. We will be spoiling everything. If you're one of the countless series listeners who have, then let's get down to business.
Come on, it'll be fun!
In the not too distant future, 2042 AD, there was a girl named Darcy, not too different from you or me.
Not too different from you or me.
Except for the fact that she's living in a post-apocalyptic world where there's no sun and it's always winter. Now, a comet struck the Earth in the Pacific Ocean 7 years ago, blotting out the sun. We opened the show with a radio message recounting the worldwide panic that ensued with a final God Save the King. Considering the year, that likely refers to William and not Charles. Regardless, the message puts us in our setting, England. The date is November 15th. Darcy Dunraven and her friend, Felix Malloy, are at a broadcast station in Dartmoor, an upland area in southern Devon. They are part of a small colony of about 100 surviving humans that have taken shelter in a medieval castle called Lochran Castle, which was an air raid shelter in World War II. Darcy is radioing out to, well, anybody who's human. Everybody has been cut off from everyone at this point, and the survivors at Lochran Castle have no idea who's still alive or human. I say human because the comet's ash blanketed the sky in what seems to be permanent darkness, and then vampires emerged. Over the transmitter, Darcy communicates that they've deciphered 3 categories of vampires. Blighters, these are creatures that are feral, naked, and painted in ash. Shades, these are human-passing vampires that are intelligent but quite insidious by nature. And then there's overlords, anointed ones, powerful vampires that can change into creatures. They are the most mysterious to humans because not many people survive if they encounter them. Darcy radios the castle, letting them know that they will spend the night there since they've been snowed in. On the receiving end are the head of security, Jepson Belgrave, and Mayor Gussie Blackwood. Jepson was dating Darcy's mother when the comet struck and has looked after her and her younger sister Hope ever since then. He's also been the one to train Darcy in combat, as Jep was MI6. Now, while Darcy is out, Hope has snuck into her room to peek at Darcy's journal with her boyfriend Jory. Hope has a bad case of cabin fever as she has been sheltering in place for as long as she's been in the castle. Jory and Hope need the journal to learn more about the vampires because they plan to leave the castle and be turned into vampires themselves.
That seems like a bad idea.
Well, they've been shielded from the brutal reality just outside the castle, so they don't know exactly how bad it is outside the walls. And especially for Hope, life is stifling inside the castle. See, they're faced with a choice: die underground or live forever on the outside.
Yeah, you put it that way, I kind of want to be a vampire.
In Darcy's journal, there's a mention of Van San Ritor, a place where Darcy saw an overlord. Back at the tower, Darcy and Felix must spoon together in one sleeping bag with just their thermals to stay warm. In the dark, they chat about their strictly platonic relationship, and Felix clearly wants more, and Darcy is in denial. Felix is a terrific companion for Darcy because, unlike in most traditional vampire stories or classical storytelling, it's the man who needs the woman to provide physical protection from the world, while he serves more as Darcy's emotional support.
Much like Peeta in the Hunger Games.
Actually, yeah, and I sort of pictured Peeta when I was listening to Impact Winter. A little blighter girl arrives to attack them, so Darcy goes out to kill it, as Felix has not been trained how to combat vampires. Unlike Hope, though, Darcy's not opposed to teaching him. First lesson: to kill a vampire, you must take off its head. A stake to the heart only incapacitates the vampire, and the vampire will awaken when you remove the stake. Meanwhile, a vampire named Penelope Chambers and her companion Anton walk toward Lochran Castle, some distance away from the transmitter tower. She knows the castle's location as she was a courier when she was still human and worked out of there during World War II. They plot to pass as humans in order to seek out shelter from someone of their kind. Who that is will be revealed later. Pay attention to Penelope because she is one of my favorite characters in this series. She was a spy for the Allies during World War II. And
right, like Peggy Carter?
Actually, yeah, she has the same kind of honorable spirit as Peggy Carter from the Captain America movies. That's actually who I pictured as Penelope when I listened to Impact Winter. November 17th, 2042, 2:33 a.m. Darcy awakens from a haunting dream and writes in her journal. Her dream sets her in the ruined Abbey of Van Sant. A black-figured dog calls out to her.
I see you.
Alone with her thoughts, Darcy pours out her feelings of helplessness and exhaustion. Darcy also recounts her day. Penelope and Anton arrive successfully at the castle and are interviewed by Jep in the interrogation room. Darcy and Hope go to observe along with Mayor Gussie. Darcy orders Hope to take a dexedrine pill if she's within earshot. See, vampires can enchant humans with just their voice, but this pill protects humans from this. Although the vampire story is convincing, Jep uses a high-intensity ultraviolet lights to expose them. Jep attacks them with an axe that he had hidden under his chair, but Anton parries and runs. Penelope stays behind with her hands up. She's not here to fight, she needs asylum. Darcy runs after Anton and kills him. Afterward, there's a governing council meeting on what to do with Penelope. Mayor Gussie, Jep, and Dr. Clive discuss her plea for sanctuary. The good doctor would love to take advantage of this opportunity to learn more about vampires and proposes that Penelope should be allowed to stay as long as they can run experiments on her. Jep doesn't like this, but the council ultimately decides to let her stay. Penelope is then placed in the detention block. While Penelope is being held in the detention center, Hope sneaks down to talk to her, again without taking dexedrine. She's hesitant about leaving with Jory and wants more intel, such as how do you differentiate between who becomes a shade or a blighter when they're turned. Penelope, well-intentioned but still a hungry vampire, draws Hope in close to attempt to take a portion of her blood, something that Hope is open to considering since she is contemplating becoming a vampire herself. Darcy intervenes and argues with her sister. Hope is past the point of no return. She's suffocating, being stuck in the shelter with nothing to do but chores.
Not much fun for little Harpo.
She asks what would happen if she were a vampire instead, and Darcy states,
I'd cry, and then I'd hunt you down and cut off your head.
So the doctor begins experimenting on Penelope. One fun fact is he's discovered that vampires still have a continuous blood flow, but without a heartbeat.
I would say that's more odd than fun.
I found it fun, although I don't know how it works.
I'm extremely confused.
As the doctor has Penelope's ribcage open and exposed while awake, I might add, Darcy comes in. Darcy grabs her heart and warns her to stay away from Hope. Penelope laughs at the irony. Humans believe vampires are monsters, yet humans are torturing this vampire and mangling her for science.
That doesn't seem fair.
Later, Darcy and Jep chat about Hope and her restlessness. Jep suggests adding her to the security detail, giving her more purpose besides just washing dishes. Darcy goes to fetch Hope, but she's gone, leaving a recorded message bidding her sister farewell.
The weeks are short and the days are long.
She pleads with Darcy to not come looking for her and to let her go. In the Van Sant Abbey ruins, aka Overlord territory, Jory and Hope argue whether to return. She is having second thoughts about becoming a vampire.
Stop, you're being selfish.
Selfish? I'm being selfish.
Yes. I'm not going back to that tomb of a bunker just because you're scared.
Frustrated, Hope waits in the camper van for him to come to his senses, which never happens as blighters arrive and attack the camp. Meanwhile, Darcy mounts up a rescue crew. Felix wants to come out and help, but she demands that he stay behind, cause, well... Okay, fine. When the rescue team arrives, they split up to search for the others. Over the comms, a team member communicates that they think they see a dog. Panicked, Darcy asks for clarification, but gets her answer as a black hooded figure appears before her.
I see you.
Darcy maydays to the others to flee immediately and draws her sword, calling on the Overlord to come and get her. She doesn't have to wait long as the figure swoops her up. Darcy then blacks out. When she awakens, she's barely alive. The figure before her states that his name is Rook, and he is offering her a choice to become a vampire or to die.
We are only born once. Against our will, rebirth is the choice of the reborn. You must want it.
Rook feeds Darcy his blood and buries her. Darcy experiences a cocoon-like rebirth, complete with extreme fever, before she claws out of the hole that she was buried in. Darcy awakens later in a chic new bedroom in some sort of country estate. Heading to the mirror, Darcy discovers a brand new body, completely unscarred except with no heartbeat. Here we are introduced to Whisper, a 400-year-old shade vampire who has been assigned to be Darcy's attendant. Whisper is one of the key characters in the story because she becomes fiercely loyal to Darcy and helps ease her into the world of vampirism. She reminded me a lot of the early days of Alicent in House of the Dragon, someone who tethers the princess to the needs of the house, like how Whisper is serving the new overlord, Darcy. Feeling overwhelmed and horrified by what she's become, Darcy flees. Shame washes over her, knowing that she has become the one thing she told Hope that she would kill if she ever became one herself. Resigning to the conclusion that the best course of action is to stay hidden, Darcy wanders to the ruined abbey to cover her grave so no one discovers what happened. Darcy's hunger is growing, but she doesn't want to feed on humans, so she attempts to satiate that feeling by feeding on a deer. Afterwards, she returns to the estate and confronts Rook. He reveals that Darcy has become an anointed one or an overlord. Overlords are rare. No more than 25 exist in the entire world. Darcy is less than thrilled.
Let's go!
Later, Whisper takes Darcy to the Undercroft where Jory is being held as an offering to the Impassionata, what the humans dub Blighters, after hearing about the birth of an anointed one, the first anointed one in 3 centuries. Rook warns Darcy that her hunger will destroy her sanity if she doesn't feed. Only human blood satiates, not animals.
Well, there goes the vegan diet plan.
I think it'd be more the equivalent of a vegetarian. Not that Darcy listens, regardless of what it would be called. Using her vampire senses, she heads out to hunt rabbits, discovering that she can change into a white lioness. While out, she hears Felix.
Maybe escape from the zoo?
I don't like the sound of it. Come back to the car.
Will do.
He's out with Jep and Hope trying to find Darcy in a nearby town. They've split up. While Felix is on the other side of town, Darcy lures him to her with her vampire powers and bites him. The taste of his blood shocks Darcy out of her dazed hunger. Frazzled and panicked, she summons his voice within her own to call for help over the comms and then flees before she can cause any further damage.
'Cause she loves him.
She runs back to the manor where Rook warns yet again that her hunger has a mind of its own.
You make the choice you can live with.
In a last-ditch attempt to avoid feeding on humans, Darcy releases Jory, telling him to run back to Hope. Making the choice she can live with, Darcy hunts after Jory and sucks him dry.
It was like air to a drowning woman.
Sitting beside Jory's lifeless body, Rook approaches her. Darcy finally admits that she now feels peace, becoming that which nothing hunts, to be wholly unafraid. Later, Darcy writes a letter to Hope describing her journey and admits to her sister that she was wrong about vampires. They are not monsters. Her mind and heart are still in the world. She is what she has chosen to become. Unaware that Darcy is still alive, Hope is struggling with survivor's guilt, so she agrees to take sessions with Mayor Gussie, who used to be a trauma therapist. Hope soon discovers what really became of Darcy when she visits Felix in recovery.
I looked her in the eyes. She's not gone. Hope.
And they vow to keep this knowledge between them. Hope also begins finding a use for herself, such as volunteering to train for security detail using Darcy's sword, which she found in the Abbey, and she also named the sword Bess, and she is trained by Jep. Now, she also begins a friendship with Penelope, the vampire. Both Penelope and Hope begin to form a kinship. Penelope educates Hope on vampires, such as how crosses and holy water don't work on them, and that only human blood will suffice. Hope then begins to feed Penelope her blood in secret. Rook writes a letter to a mysterious comrade describing the growing pains of having a new anointed one in the household. Darcy disappears for days at a time to hunt for humans as far away from the castle as possible.
I've offered a relocation, but she balks.
Darcy is perplexed why she is always hungry, and Rook never seems to be. He informs her that the older you get, the less you have to feed. For example, Rook feeds once every few months. After one hunting session, Darcy returns to shower off the blood and invites Rook to join her. Although not common to sleep with the one they've turned, Rook accepts the invitation. While in her bedroom, Rook sees that Darcy keeps the radio on, listening to ensure that Felix is still alive.
Be careful. Your heart may not beat, but it can still break as easily as it ever did.
Meanwhile, Whisper and Darcy are becoming closer. Whisper teaches her how to meditate and shares information about her maker, a cruel overlord named Calistrada.
Who's Calistrada?
Calistrada. She is the main villain of the season, and because she's been around since before the birth of Christ, I think she could have been the origin for the myth of Cassandra, the most famous seer from Greek mythology. While meditating, Felix reaches out via radio. He gets attacked by Blighters, and Darcy comes to the rescue. She's relieved that he's okay. They have tea and chat about Hope.
Darcy, I swear to Christ, if she had a choice between seeing her bigger sister or the sun itself parting the clouds, she'd pick you every day.
Felix attempts to tell her his feelings before she leaves, but she stops him.
Because my heart can still break.
Back at the manor, Rook finishes up his letter stating that, while he does not believe in prophecies, he thinks that Darcy could be the one. He never finishes the letter as Calistrada arrives unannounced. He orders Whisper to burn the letter and warn Darcy of her maker's arrival. Hope has begun writing in Darcy's journal. The date is now June 8th, 2043. We discover that Felix has given Darcy's letter to Hope, and that Hope has convinced the mayor to cease experimentation on Penelope. She recounts arguing with Jep about this while driving to Church Cove.
She's not a bad person.
She's not a person at all, in fact.
Well, she was.
She was, and now she isn't.
When they arrive, they discover that the town has been attacked and some people have been taken. Back at the castle, Hope learns more about Penelope. While working as a British intelligence courier, she was in Prague when an anointed one named Lupa turned her. Now, for a time, they were very close, until Lupa killed her sister just to teach her a lesson.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Then Penelope killed Lupa, which in the vampire world is an unforgivable crime. So now Penelope is being hunted by Lupa's maker, Calistrada. And that is what she needs asylum from. Vowing to protect Penelope, Hope asks to learn how to kill an overlord. Jep, concerned over what Hope is hiding, sneaks in and takes Darcy's letter to Hope. At the manor, Whisper meets with Darcy to inform and warn her about Calistrada. She was an ancient seer in Greece, born even before Christ. When she became a vampire, her powers became magnified.
Indoor plumbing, it's gonna be big.
When Darcy gets introduced to Calistrada, she discovers that Calistrada is building a reserve, a blood farm, as Rook calls it. It's a commune of humans in Soho being kept alive for their blood.
They are happy, unafraid, unaccosted, with no memory of us or anything we might do to them.
They are enthralled to within an inch of their lives, glassy-eyed and listless.
It's a strange allegory for our own society. The vampire population is running out of food, so now they're farming.
It's ironic.
She was the one that sent the soldiers into Church Cove and took the humans for her farm. But the real reason Calistrada is here is to find Penelope. While Darcy and Rook don't reveal Penelope's whereabouts, Calistrada knows they're hiding something. So she tracks Darcy down at the transmission station where she's trying to warn Felix, and she takes Darcy's memories and then finds out where Penelope is. She leaves Darcy in a sort of psychic block, rendering her useless to open the door.
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Thankfully, Whisper arrives to let her out.
She's going to attack the castle. Go and warn them.
Me? Will they listen?
Make them.
Darcy heads off into the woods and finds Calistrada. She leaps into attack and stabs her in the heart.
Wood doesn't work on the anointed, I'm afraid. Silver, on the other hand.
And just like that, Calistrada stabs Darcy with a silver stake and buries her in the ground, leaving her with nothing but her inner lioness to coach her to
Just keep swimming.
Whisper meets up with Jep on the road and attempts to warn him about the attack. However, he stakes her to stop and interrogates her. At the castle, warning sirens sound off. Blighters are coming for Penelope by using the secret entrance to close them all in. Penelope knows of another way out.
There's an old tin mine that connects to a cave.
Where is it?
It's a labyrinth. I'd have to show you myself.
With little choice, the mayor has Penelope released, and they head to the secret passageway to the old mine. Hope stays behind to fight off the Blighters with her sword, Bess, to buy the escapees time. And then Penelope returns to help out her friend, and they probably would have perished if not for...
It's like a black wolf. And how is a dog calling them off?
It's not a dog. It's an overlord.
Rook has come to call off the attack.
And that's why they call us man's best friend.
Not the same thing, but I get what you mean. High five, Doug. We cut back to Jep's interrogation of Whisper. He has resorted to torturing her since he's aware the vampire bones grow back. Thankfully, Felix intervenes and stops him, but he's knocked out. And now, Jep has even better bait for Darcy.
That escalated quickly.
He doesn't mean it, I think. Finally, Darcy is pulled out of her hole by Rook, who also removes the silver stake. Darcy learns that Felix escaped and the Rook called off the attack. Relief is short-lived though, as Calistrada appears to announce that she intends to kill everyone in the castle since...
You've left me no choice.
Calistrada doesn't believe that the council would be in his favor, however. A burnt scrap of paper that she took in Rook's manor suggests that he is one of the partisans that believe that it was a mistake to summon the comet, or the gift, as vampires call it.
What?
That's right, the vampires, or their queen more specifically, summoned the comet. Those that would work to undo it are traitors to the holy blood, and all those that stand by the queen have been tasked to kill any of these rebels if they uncover them. Sensing trouble, Rook instructs Darcy to run, but she tries to attack Calistrada with her silver stake instead. Calistrada counters this attack by using her powers to freeze Darcy. Rook changes into a dog to protect Darcy, and a battle commences between him, a monstrous Calistrada, and eventually Darcy's lioness. Darcy's lioness bite causes the ancient seer to slowly bleed out like a mortal, shocking everyone, including Darcy.
Don't bleed. What's happening?
See, it turns out that Darcy is the one.
He is the one.
Darcy has made a believer out of Rook since she was able to kill Calistrada, one of the first, with a single bite. Yet, Darcy is perplexed about why Rook would want the winter to end.
I'd rather be a monster in a living world than a king of a dead one.
Whisper arrives to inform Darcy of what happened to Felix and where she must confront Jep. Before she departs from Rook, he informs her that he must leave. The Council of Forebears would have felt the death of Calistrada by now. Someone must take the fall. He intends to be that person. They bid farewell, not knowing if they will ever see each other again.
They probably will though, right?
I mean...
Right?
No, buddy, you just gotta wait on season 2.
Tease.
Darcy travels to confront Jep and tries to reason with him.
This isn't you, Jep.
If that isn't the pot calling the kettle black.
Darcy even tries to give him a peace offering by handing him a silver stake, but to no avail. He shoots Felix to antagonize Darcy and get her to turn her back to him so he can stake her. Jep raises his axe to finish the job, but Hope shoots him dead. However, Felix's wounds are too severe. He asks to spend the rest of his life sitting with Darcy. Hope leaves Darcy to say farewell to Felix. Afterwards, they bury him together before the two freshly reunited sisters must also say goodbye to one another. Darcy must join the resistance, and Hope must stay behind to lead. Once Hope leaves, Darcy remains by Felix's grave. After a moment, he crawls out. he's been turned into a vampire or an incarnata, or a shade, which is a slur term according to Whisper. After he settles, he asks what she would say on the other side.
I love you too.
Finally! Yes, indeed. We cut to our final journal entry from Hope this season. The date is November 9th, 2043. Penelope has become the new trainer for new refugees seeking asylum from Soho. It's hinted that Darcy is doing the rescuing. This is likely true, as at the harbor, Felix mentions Soho as one destination that he and Darcy have been to since they've been turned. We end the season with Whisper's notification that their boat is ready to set sail. They are traveling to meet up with the Resistance to kill the Vampire Queen. And there you have it, guys. That's your Season 1 recap of the Audible original series Impact Winter. Are you excited for Season 2? Did I leave anything out that I should have left in? Whatever your comments are, leave them below, or you can add Audible or me on Twitter. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.